There is probably nothing less sexy than the sound of the phrase, we must develop a moral philosophy. I don't know, for me it like evokes images of old dudes at Oxford University in grey buildings and big libraries talking endlessly about stuff. So maybe we can reframe it and we can say, okay, we need something that is fundamentally protective, that functions as a kind of matrix of values and anti-values. Let me be clear with my language here. Values, the things we want and the things we're moving towards. Anti-values, the things that we will and we won't accept. If you imagine you are a single cell, you're going to need to know what you're going to let through the cell wall to feed yourself and that which is life-affirming and nourishing, and that which is to be blocked out. Take that analogy and expand it. You're in a fortress. You're the king of the castle, the queen of the castle. You're deciding the friends, the allies that get through the gate, and you're deciding the enemies that are told no at the gate. That's the stance that I want you to think of when we say a moral philosophy. Or maybe we could just start saying like a matrix of value. There must be a filter. A boundary is always a no. There's like, it's not a boundary if it doesn't say no, metaphorically or literally. A boundary is a wall. You know, you want to walk from here to there, but the wall says no, because you can't walk through walls. The cell wall is a no. It lets some things in and some things it refuses. Your skin, your immune system, these are all ways of saying no. If you don't have a skin, you can get infected by anything. You need skin that functions well so that you don't get sick. If something does get through, I think they're called lymphocytes. They're like white blood cell soldiers. Is it lymphocytes? And Thomas is nodding. We trust Thomas. They'll go out and they'll kill the enemy that shouldn't be there. That's the functioning of a healthy, robust, resilient immune system. We must have these things for information, because we can be infected by information. We can be infected by ideas. We can be infected by not just information and ideas, but whole structures of stacked information and ideas with moving parts, beliefs, attitudes, styles. They even can dictate the way you dress, the way you speak, what you do. This is usually called ideology. This is not philosophy. That's not a moral philosophy. A moral philosophy is something that you as an individual have developed yourself authentically for your own highest good. Ideology is something that some other, I'm not going to swear on these videos, individual has pre-made for you to fulfill an agenda. I would suggest the agenda is not yours, it's theirs. So if you're consuming an ideology, unless you have a very, very strong filter, you can assume that you're consuming a kind of mind parasite, a kind of a psychological virus whose code is to demoralize you, whose code is to disempower you and to numb you into a state of submission so that it can work its magic and effectively take what it wants from you. It's dark magic. It works its dark magic when you are numbed. So ideologies in this sense could be said to be like drugs. They're paralyzing agents. The root of the Greek word for narcissism is narcissos, and it's related to sleep, numbing agents, and drugs, because Narcissus fell into a deep sleep of continuous love when gazing into the mirror and fell in love with his own image. He didn't fall in love with his own self. When we develop a moral philosophy, we're not coming from avatar, we're coming from the self. What's the difference and why is this important? Your avatar is who you need to be in order to function in the common space. Who you really are as an individual is always weird, is always idiosyncratic, is always very strange. That's the real you. That's the essence of what human beings are. I imagine, and I'm fairly certain that this would have been the case. I mean, we can see evidence of it. When we lived in very small tribes of hunter-gatherers, and we had an awful lot of codependency in the non-toxic sense. It was just, we were in interdependency, if you like. What Marx referred to as primitive communism or tribal communism. It's the natural state of affairs when you live in a group of 50 and you could die every day. You share your tools, you share the fruits of labor, because you can see like why you would do that is obvious. You need him, you need her to back you up and to support you, or if she starves to death or he starves to death because you won't share your kill, that ain't good for you. It's immediate, it's non-symbolic. So we would have lived and we evolved as authentic, strange, idiosyncratic beings. And our strangeness, our uniqueness would have been acknowledged. If you had a dream, the other members of the tribe would have had time to hear your dream, because there's no TV. You just sit around a campfire at the end of the night going, wow, we didn't die today. Well done, everybody. Isn't it nice we didn't die? Aren't the stars pretty? Let's tell a few stories. I had a dream. Oh, okay, tell us your dream. There'd be more time and attention for your individuality. There'd be more time and attention for your authentic self. As we move in evolutionary terms through this wonderful technological development and progress, we discover we can farm. We discover arable farming, and we can stay still. We can build walls that keep the lions and tigers out. We can survive in larger communities where if I do something today, I don't even see the benefits of how it affects in the larger community, because now instead of 50 people, all of whom I know very, very well, I now live in a community of 4,000. And there isn't really the possibility for me to know everybody. I don't have, even if I met everybody as like a tax collector or something, I don't really have the mental space for them. I still only really have the mental space for about 50 to 100 people. There is a theory in evolutionary biology, I can't remember its title. Once you get past a tribe of 150 people, people start to behave in a more criminal fashion. There's a greater tendency towards psychopathy and narcissism because there's fewer repercussions. At 170 people, you can get away with more than at 50 people. You start to become invisible in good ways and bad ways. So we are living in a civilized world. There's no conspiracy here. There's no Illuminati making this happen. This is just a side product of progress. There are nefarious bad actors who are benefiting. They're, you know, it's like when they talk about the gold rush, the people who made the most money in the gold rush weren't the people picking the gold out the rivers. It was the people who were selling the shovels and the spades and the sieves to get out of the rivers. They made the money. There are people on the sidelines making money here for sure, but they're not really causing this. You can't. This is humanity as a tsunami. This is humanity as a natural force. It's powerfully moving in a certain direction towards survivability. Think how long we evolved with no or little calories. Hundreds of thousands of years, well, depending on where you draw your boundaries, literally millions of years, where every day all you thought about is what can I eat and how will I feed myself, my young, and the other members of my tribe. That's it. Food-focused living. That was it for millions of years. Certainly we can say in the last couple of 100,000 years, where we're in this permutation, this manifestation of the creature, the animal that we are, that's all we worried about. Now we have to worry about obesity. Now we have to go on diets and restrict our calories and check our micronutrients because it's too much. Which is a really nice example of the ways in which our technology has exceeded what we are evolved to, and it brings problems that are physiological, psychological, and philosophical. But I believe they're solvable, and that's why we're talking about the subject that we're talking about today. So, you do need a moral philosophy. It will protect you, but it's better to, perhaps it's better to think of it as like a filter or a matrix of value that keeps bad stuff out. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time and for your attention, and I look forward to speaking to you again very soon. Cheers.